very basic introduction. I request everyone, please give me confirmation. My screen, is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. 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 So thank you so much for this confirmation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Let me play this first. Oops. Just just a minute. Let me please play this PPT. Yeah. Is that just a second. Just give me a few seconds, please. Let me open this first. Yes. Okay. So now, first of all, we'll be discussing what's our objective. We'll be learning about, I'll introduce about what is data science. And after that, I'll also give you a introduction that what is AI and how AI and machine learning, they are related with the data science. We'll also define that what is deep learning and what are the relationship of like machine learning and deep learning, AI, how these all are related with the data science. Now, and apart from that, how this concept of data science and AI, it has been developed. So what was the chronological order of the historical development of this data science? So will be, yes. I need to play it in the presentation. Yes, yeah. Thank you so much, Rohan sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll be discussing about that how this AI and data science and machine learning, the concept has been developed, and what are the differences between machine learning and deep learning that we have heard a lot. Then apart from that, we need to understand and we need to differentiate between the modern AI and prior AI. So what is modern AI? What is prior AI? So how they are different from each other. And apart from that, we'll be going at the applications of AI. So you're welcome, Rohan sir. You're welcome. Thank you so much. So, uh, so that's what is our objective. And as I said, that we'll be more emphasizing on hands-on implementations. But because today is our first interaction, so it will be slightly theoretical session where I'll give you the basic foundation so that that foundation will help you in hands-on implementation. So it will give you a basic foundation over which we can do the hands-on implementation. So slightly today will be a theoretical session. And before defining what is data science, first let me in fact introduce about AI. So Thank you so much, Sachin sir. Very good evening. Uh, here I would like to first introduce about what is artificial intelligence, what is AI. So before I start my explanation, I'm sure nowadays this is a kind of a buzzword. So before I start my explanation, I request, may I know what's like before understanding this artificial intelligence, it is made up of two words. So I want to know, as per your opinion, what do you understand by intelligence? How can you define intelligence? I just want to know your opinion. Just forget about artificial. I'm just talking about intelligence. How can we define what does it mean by intelligence? Well done, Omkar sir. Uh, Thank you, Aruna
Taking
ma'am. That's
taking
right.
decisions, taking decisions.
Yes, sir. That's right. Well done,
With,
Rohan sir.
with the help of previous knowledge, we can predict something for future, that is intelligence.
Exactly. That's fantastic, Anjana ma'am. That's right. Parvinder ji, that's right. Fantastic, Nikita ma'am. Tara ma'am, thank you so much.
It's the
Yes,
ability
Bharti
to
ma'am.
acquire and apply knowledge and skills.
Yes, right. That's right, ma'am. Vanita ma'am. That's right.
Thank
That's
you.
all right. Taraji, thank you so much. Mithle sir, that's fantastic. Oh yes, Singer sir, that's right. Fantastic. You have written a very fantastic formula. That's impressive. Amit sir, that's right. Okay,
It
fantastic.
can be
So
a, it can be a,
yeah,
hello?
yes, sir. Yeah, you are audible, sir. Yeah. Yes, Singer sir, you are audible.
Yeah, it's a decision plus experience actually.
Yes, that's what I said. You have written a very fantastic formula. That was a very fantastic, impressive, sir. Okay, Pritam ji, thank you so much. Your answer is fantastic. Sandeep sir, logic behind problem solving. Sandeep sir, I will come to you this points, right? I have to discuss something. We have written a very fantastic point. I need to discuss something. I'll be back to you, Sandeep sir. How one process? Yes, sir, Gagandeep ji, that's right. Yes, sir. Ravinji, that's right. Ravind sir, that's right. Forecasting is uh, one of the application. Agreed. That's right. Depending the problem, it gives solution. Exactly, Vasanti ma'am. That's right. Wonderful. I could see that I got a pretty much very fantastic answer, and almost most of you have given a very fantastic, very peculiar answer. So let me conclude in a nutshell all the answers that you all have given to me. In a nutshell, I can say intelligence means we can say the capability to make right decision at right time. The capability to make right decision at right time. Exactly. I think Vijayaji has written exactly same. Okay, let me give you some examples so that I can make you easily understand. Suppose there is a highway, and on that highway we are driving. Okay. Uh, uh, I request everyone, we can, you can put your mic on mute mode. Okay, uh, so I request everyone, I'm putting everyone on the mute mode. And but still at any point of time, if you have any queries or any question, so you can write it on the chat box. So I'm just muting for the better quality of sound, so that there should not be any echo. So that's why I just muted everyone. So, but still I request at any point of time, please feel free if you have any queries or question, I'll try to answer. Okay, so I was explaining, just suppose on the highway, we are uh, we are driving a car. Let's suppose this is one car. No, let's say this. Let's clean. Yeah. So suppose there is some kind of highway. This is the kind of road. And on this road, we are driving one car, and car is moving towards this direction, but suddenly in front of car, when we were driving, suddenly something comes in front of the car. Something comes in front of the car. So just imagine the situation on that point, on that situation, on that site. You have one option that you can slow down the car. You can apply the brake, very powerful brake, sudden brake at random. You can apply. The first option is you can apply the sudden brake. This is the one of the option that is available. If you saw something suddenly in front of your car, so first option, you can apply the brake, very sudden, powerful brake. You can apply the very powerful brake to stop your car. Second option is you can take slightly right turn and you can bypass. This is the second option. You can take a right turn and you can shift your car slightly. You can turn your car slightly right side and then you can pass on. Third option is you can take the left turn and you can take a small left turn and then you can move on. You can pass on. This is another option. Fourth option is you apply the brake and then you apply the brake as well as you take the left or right turn. Next option is you can apply the brake and you can take left turn. Next option is, or even you can increase the speed to overtake and to overthrow that. You take a small right turn, you speed up and you overtake that object. If some vehicle is there in front of you. So there are multiple options. So on that side, what you have to do, you have to choose the best option. You have to choose the best option out of all the possible available options. So human, with the help of intelligence, can make right decision on that time, on that site, on that time. Human can make right decision that what should be done at the time of that particular instance. So can we say that driving is something where we need human intelligence every second when we are driving on the highway? Please give me a confirmation. Are you with me that? Yes, I think one more thing. I think Ranjan sir has given a very fantastic. If it is a light object, then it could be possible that we can go through. We can even not. We cannot put some brake over that. That could be, again, that's a very fantastic, that Ranjan sir has said that. That's really a fantastic answer. So exactly just like Ranjan sir has said that, so can we say driving requires human intelligence every moment when you are on the highway? Every second, every moment you need to make right decision. Means at every time, every moment you need to decide that whether you have to accelerate the car or you have to slow down the car. You have to take a left turn or you have to take right turn. How much left turn? Big left or big right? So every second we need to make decisions. We need to make decisions. And so one thing is very clear at this point. The word intelligence means the capability to make right decision at right time. And if you talk about humans, this intelligence feature is already available, naturally available in the human due to its brain. The phenomena of intelligence is naturally available in the human due to its brain, its mind and brain. Now, the way human can make right decision at right time, what we are going to study in this one, the same kind of capability that naturally human possess. The same kind of capability means the capability to make right decision at right time, the right decision at right time. Now we have to provide the same kind of power to this machine as well, so that our machine can also make right decision at right time. Now imagine what I want to say, that till now, human can drive a car because driving a car requires intelligence, and intelligence is something that is available naturally with the human being. Right? So driving a car is something that requires human natural intelligence. But what we want to learn, what we have to learn in this way, that how can we make our machine also intelligent, so that machine is also capable to make right decision at right time. I repeat, what we have to do, we have to give this machine that capability, that power, so that machine should also capable to make right decision at right time, the way human can do it. And imagine if we provide that power to the machine, so what will happen? If I provide the same kind of capability, the same intelligence, the human intelligence kind of thing, if I provide the same type of power to the machine, then what machine can do? The answer is the same thing that human can do easily. The same thing can also be done by machine. It means today, if I say that today, due to human intelligence, if human can drive a car, and the same power, if I provide it to the machine, it means machine can also drive the car, because car driving requires human intelligence. Car driving requires intelligence. Intelligence means again, so that making right decision at right time. So if I make this machine capable to make right decision at right time, so what can we say? Can we say that machine is also intelligent? Are you with me? Yes, exactly, Kiran ma'am, that's right. If I say that, if the way human can make right decision at right time, if the same kind of power, if we provide to the machine, so can we say that machine is also intelligent? Exactly. But that intelligence power is not natural, because intelligence power of human is the natural. Humans are natural. That intelligence is a natural phenomena. But the same phenomena, if we provide that to the machines, then we can say that machines are also intelligent. But that intelligence power of machine is not natural. And we will say that machine is intelligent, but artificially intelligent. They're not naturally intelligent. And from there, the word has been introduced, AI. So the purpose of AI is that we have to make our machine capable. We have to make our machine capable so that machine can also start making right decision at right time, the way human can make the right decision at right time. Rohan said, no. Rohan said programmed intelligence. Yeah, there is a kind of rule-based is something different. Here, we are trying to do something kind of cognitive understanding, like just like Pooja ma'am has said. Rohan said, just give me a few more time. I will actually explain. I think this is a really very good word terminology, that what is actually different between traditional programming and the coding that we write for AI, and all the practical implementation, the hands-on implementation if you write for AI. All right. Anyway, so here in a nutshell, I will say that there is one human, look at this, and there is one machine. I have drawn one machine. So I will say that human is intelligent, but that power of intelligence is natural. That is natural. Intelligence is natural with a human, but the same kind of power if I provide to the computer, so I will say that our machine is also intelligent, but that intelligence power is not natural. That is artificial intelligence, and that's what is AI. So let me conclude. AI means we need to provide that power to the machine so that machine can also do right decision at right time. Yes. Arpam Raja said that's agreed exactly. So that we deal with, there are like computer vision, like we can solve this kind of problem with the help of computer vision. All right, sir. So for that, basically there are different architecture, like we can go for CNN kind of neural network that can be easily deal with that. All right. Or we can go for the Markov rules to deal with these kind of situation where this object is also moving. All right, sir. So I'll be coming to that. That's again a very interesting domain of this AI. So here I would like to say that we have to make this machine capable to make right decision at right time. Means we have to make this machine intelligent artificially. Now the $1 million question is how? How can we make this machine intelligent? How can we make that machine can also think and answer? How can we give the power to the machine so that machine can do the same thing that human can also do? We have to make this. So to answer this question, that how to make, this is the question that we have to make our machine intelligent. Now the question is, how can we make our machine intelligent artificially? So to answer this question, we have two answers. This is the first answer and this is the second answer. I repeat, this is the first answer and this is the second answer. So if someone asks you that we have to make our machine intelligent artificially, so what are the practical ways? What are the actual ways? What are the empirical and practical ways through which we can make our machine intelligent? So there are two answers. Answer number one is via machine learning, and answer number two is via deep learning. Yes. So now let me that AI is something we have to make our machine intelligent. Now these are the two practical practices. These are the practices through which we can make our machine intelligent. So if I ask you in a very broad question, what is the purpose of machine learning? Answer is we have to make our machine intelligent artificially. Okay, my question is, what is the purpose? What is the objective of deep learning? Simple, we have to make our machine intelligent artificially. So both of them are exactly, their objective is same. Okay, I have a very weird question. Like I have two things. One is pen, number one, and number two is fan. Again, this is a very weird question, stupid question, but I want your opinion. If I ask you a question, out of these two, which one is better? I request everyone, just I want to know your opinion. Out of these two, which one is better? Which one is better? Oh, pen. Okay, fan, pen. Based on context, based on situation, based on condition, based on need, according to situation, we can decide many commands. Okay. depend upon requirements, context depend. Okay, fair, we can't see. All right, Omkar sir, that's a really interesting example. Answer. Fan, we cannot sit with the sweat of. Okay. Yes, I think Deepak sir, very diplomatic and beautiful answer. Both are important. Okay. All right. I could see that. In fact, today I got a very creative answers. Exactly. Anjana ma'am, that's fantastic. Okay. Ranjan sir is asking which one is working. Sir, both of them are working. Both of them are working. Miss, none of them is damaged product. Let's suppose one working pen and working fan is there. Okay. Yes, Armila ma'am, that's right. It depends upon context or situation. See, we cannot say right now, we cannot say that which one is better. Why? Because suppose if you're feeling very hot, then pen cannot do that anything. At that time, you need a fan. But suppose if you have to write some letter, then you cannot write a letter from the pen. So their application area is totally different. Their uses area is different, so we cannot compare. Whenever we have to compare, so suppose I have two pen 1 and pen 2. Now if I ask that which one is better, then you can compare it. If I ask two fan 1 and fan 2, then you can compare that which fan is better from this one. Suppose this fan has better RPM and low electricity consumption. So I'll say that fan 2 is better. So it writes, its handling is soft. It goes, it do not get leaked. It's a very beautiful, looks beautiful. So as compared to the pen 1. So then I'll say that pen 2 is better than pen 1. So because pen and fan, their application domains are different. So their uses are based on context. Right? Their uses is basically based on context. So we cannot in fact compare them. Exactly same way, I said that, exactly same way that we can make our machine intelligent artificially via either machine learning or via deep learning. Now the question is, which one is better? I will say that we cannot compare them. Machine learning and deep learning, we cannot compare them. Why? Because their application domain is different. Its application domain and purpose is different. Its context is different. They are different contexts. Their application area is totally different. It's not like that everywhere you can use machine learning to make our machine intelligent. No, at some, I mean to say, for example, if there are two projects, P1 and P2, so it could be possible that in P1 you have to apply machine learning and in P2 you have to apply deep learning. So their application domains are different. So rule number 1, that just forget about that which one is better. Both of them are better depending upon the context. Okay, yes, I think Amit sir has asked a very beautiful question. I'll say that very fantastic and very logical question. Then that first I told that they are the two different, I'll say that two different domain application areas are there. But why in this Venn diagram, why I have represent deep learning as this subset, kind of a subset of machine learning. All right, Amit sir, I think the same is your question. Okay, so let me tell you that why I have drawn it. That if there is a new fresher, if there is a beginner, if there is a professional who want to learn this AI, I recommend that first start learning from machine learning, then you can go ahead for deep learning. Because in deep learning, you have to use almost most of the concept of machine learning is to be used, to be applied over here, plus some more extra concept need to be used over here. So that's why I have represented it that for applying AI, if you want to learn AI, first start learning with the machine learning, then you can go for deep learning. That will be easy. No, Mithilesh, we cannot say that it's a modified version. I will explain it in a few couple of minutes. Not modified version. Actually, deep learning is application of neural network. It's not a modified version. It's an application of, right? That is the way to use this deep learning. All right. Anyway, we will discuss on that. But before that, the most important question is, how can we decide that if I have to make our machine intelligent artificial, how can we decide that whether we have to go for machine learning or deep learning? Machine learning or deep learning, how can we go ahead with that? And please keep in mind that I have, when I started my session, I already told you that we have to discuss this topic, but I have started from here. Then I came to here. Then I came to here. Now I have to first let you explain that what is the difference between like machine learning and deep learning. How can you decide that when to use machine learning? So first we need to understand these three terminologies. So once if you're comfortable, then I'll come back to this term, that is data science. Okay. No, Arpan Raja sir, that's not like that. I'll tell you a trick, and with that trick, you all will be very easily understand that. So today, your entire objective, your vision will be clear very much, that how to decide that when to use machine learning and when to use deep learning. And one more thing, like in this field of AI, I have designed, I have in fact also that I've coined and invented some terminologies, some examples, some animations, and some examples, some animation that you won't find anywhere on the internet. So for explanation purpose, I have designed some stories, some examples, very interesting examples, so that you will be able to understand it. So let me explain it in a very simple way. So all the data, I'm talking about data. See, can you see that right now I am discussing the first half of this, come back. The first half of this data science, that is data. First, let us discuss about data. All the data. Prakash sir, your answer is actually 70% correct. All right, your answer is 70% correct. Core objective is, that's right. But I'll explain that how, what is the clear-cut boundary? How can we decide that when to apply? All right, Prakash sir. Okay. Yes, Mithilesh sir, that's right. That is the architecture of deep learning. That in deep learning, we don't need to do the feature selection, feature extraction. The science and the mathematics that we are using deep learning, that is done automatically. Again, because so many faculties are very new. So if I'll be using these terms like feature selection, feature extraction, so these terminologies might sound weird for some all the faculty, those who are very, very new for that. So please first let me explain in my way that all the data, entire universe. Yes, thank you so much. So entire data of the universe, we can divide the data into broadly two categories. Actually, there are three categories, but I will be discussing only two of them today, 1 and 2. I said that all the data of the universe, they are broadly divided into two categories. Number one is the type of data. What type of generating which type of data. So all the type of data can be broadly divided into two broad categories. Number one is structured data, and number two is unstructured data. Unstructured data. Vasanthi ma'am, actually the more appropriate term is structured and unstructured rather than organized and unorganized. In industry we use the appropriate term structured, unstructured, and there is one more third format, ma'am, that is semi-structured. So, but that third category right now today I'm not going to discuss. Broadly we can say entire data of the universe is broadly divided into two parts. In data science, we have to deal with the only two type of data. Actually, there are three types, but now I'll say that let's divide entire data universe of the data science to two parts. One is structured data, and second is unstructured data. Now the question is, what does it mean by structured data? And yes, Santosh sir, that's right, exactly. That is semi-structured, exactly. But right now, for the ease and simplicity of this explanation, I am just leaving that. I'm just taking only these two categories. All right, Santosh sir, structured and unstructured. Let me tell you that how to decide that which type of data is known as structured data. Thank you, Santosh sir. Thank you so much. Okay, Vasanthi ma'am, let me tell you a rule, a trick. That trick will help you to understand it. Any data of the universe, I repeat, any data of the universe, if it can be represented in the format of rows and columns, if any data that can be represented in the format of rows and columns, that data known as structured data. Exactly, Santosh sir. But Santosh sir, SQL is not to store the data. SQL is a language, just like Java is a language, C is a language, C++ language. Similarly, SQL is language. SQL products, the product that supports SQL, right? Like SQL Server, MS SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle. These are the products. They store the data. So SQL is just the way to access and manipulate them. Okay. Okay. So let me tell you a very simple trick. Thank you so much, Rohan sir. Thank you so much for such a fabulous compliment. Thank you so much, sir. Here I was just exactly, Shalin, let me tell you, if data can be represented in the format of rows and column, then that is structured data. Okay, let me give you some question. Let me ask some question. And you have to guess, you have to predict, and you have to answer that the data is structured or not, right? So first example, yeah, criteria is if we can store that data in the format of rows and column in a table format, then that data is structured. This is the only criteria, right? Okay, so my question number one, my question number two, I have to all the faculty members, and one more thing that before I start, I have one more request to everyone, that in entire FDP, I will do lots of hands-on implementation, lots of activities, lots of question answer. So I request that please participate in all those question answers, activities, some tasks. I will give you some assignments, some hands-on, some implementation, coding. So we'll do lots of different type of activities. So I request that try to participate in every activity, and do not think that, okay, when I ask some question, don't feel that, oh, some other faculty member has answered, so now I don't need to answer. Actually, I will analyze the overall the pattern of the opinion of every faculty members. Thank you so much, Shanti ma'am. Thank you, Bharti ma'am. Thank you so much, Rohan sir. So my first question is, I have to store the people of India. I have to store the Aadhaar card, phone number, age of people of India who have got the vaccination of COVID. Is it a structured data? Okay, well done. Okay. 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 Okay, my question number 2. Anjana ma'am, no. Anjana ma'am, you said that unstructured. Pooja ma'am, you said that unstructured. Pooja ma'am, no, the rule is, can we store that data into a table? I said that Aadhaar card number, name and age. Aadhaar card, name and age. We can store that data. Aadhaar card, name, age. We can store that data in table. Simple. That data is. We can store that data into row and columns. So that's the structured data. All right, ma'am. Okay. Okay. So my question number two. My question number 2 is, I have to store all the vehicle number and owner name of a city who have just insured their vehicle in last 2 years. Is it a kind of structured data or unstructured? Okay. Okay. Exactly. That's fantastic. And third question, very good. Exactly. Fantastic. No, Ravindra said no. I'm not talking about that. It's a historical data or not. That we'll talk about later, that what is historical data, what is training data, what is testing data, what is validation data set. So we'll talk about later on. Right actually, I just want to know that whether their data is structured or not. Yeah. Okay, now the last question. My last question. I have to store the data of like all the faculty names, their college names and their city, those who have joined this FDP of data science. That is structured or not? Okay. All right. Exactly. Fantastic. That's right. Okay, so I could see that now almost 100% of faculty members, your answer is now 100% perfect. You all have given a very fantastic answer. And if you could understand that what is structured data, exactly. Now, let me tell you that I already told you that what is structured data. Now come to the point number 2. Okay, Vasanthi ma'am, nothing. That's a very simple row and column. Vasanthi ma'am, if I say that can you store the data into the means that's not a right definition, but if you can store that data into Excel file, that is the structured data. Means in the rows and column of the Excel table, kind of that. So that is simply, I will say that that's a structured data. Yes, Pooja ma'am, exactly. Pooja ma'am, I'll be coming to that. Pooja ma'am, but before that, please let me allow to first make you understand what does it mean by unstructured data, or how will you able to identify that it is an unstructured data? Okay. So as I said that today your entire vision is going to be clear, your entire fundamental is going to be strong enough so that we can do all the hands-on implementation in a very, very easy way. So any data that cannot be represented in a row and column format, any data that cannot be represented in a fixed row and column format, right? Any data whose structure is not fixed, I repeat, any data whose structure is not fixed is known as unstructured. Now let me explain with one example, right? Let me explain with, yes, Ravin said, exactly. Please allow me to explain it with one example, right? I'll explain with one live example so that it will be more easy for you to grasp and understand. But before that, let me say that in unstructured data, basically we includes images, audio, and video, and text. These are the basically four information that comes under unstructured data. Yes, sir. Chandrakar ji, that's right. Miss data could be either your WhatsApp message, Twitter data, Facebook post. They all comes under text, and they all are the part of unstructured data. Kind of all CLOG type of data, character large object type of data is all comes under unstructured. Now the question, why it comes under unstructured? So let me make you understand it with a very interesting example. Let me open one. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now, look at this. Suppose we have one algorithm. Yes, exactly. Sangat, that's right. Suppose we have one image, and that image is the size 8 by 8 pixel. 8 by 8 pixel means 8 rows and 8 columns, right? So there are total like 8 rows and means these are the pixels, 8 rows and 8 columns, right? Okay. Now we have to develop an algorithm. That algorithm, by analyzing the photo, it should predict that whether this picture belongs to a male person or female person. We have to predict, we have to guess. Our machine has to guess whether the person is male or female. We have to predict the gender from the picture, right? Okay, so I have a very simple question. If I do not show the picture of the pixels of these pixels, if I hide these pixels, still can we guess that this is male or female? Yes, of course. Okay, if I hide these pixels, now tell me, can we still guess that is it a male or female? Okay. Now if I hide this part of a picture, now tell me, can you still guess that this picture belongs to male or female? Okay. Now, but suppose if I even hide this part, these plus this part, these many parts, I have just hidden all these parts. Now tell me, can we still recognize that this is a male or female? Okay, now let me give you a very tough task. Okay, if I hide this part of this image, if I hide this, some part of this image also, now can we, is it identifiable? Now I have hidden some part of the image. Can we identify that this is a male or female? Yes, I think still we can identify that this is a, okay, but even if I hide this much of part, and now if I ask you, can you tell me only this part? Now we cannot find it. But did you notice there is a very interesting lesson in this example? There's a very interesting lesson. Can we say that if I have to identify that what is the gender of this person of this picture? So in this picture, all pixels are not important for us. We can say all pixels are not important for us. All pixels are not important. All pixels are not important. So in this example, if I say that, let me draw something like this. So apart from that, if I fill all these area, so can we say the area that I'm filling, that is not very important for our this problem solving? Yes, sorry. I think yes, I think CB Saran sir, I think sorry, I forgot to introduce that. What does it mean by pixel? Sir, like those who are not from the CS background, let me tell you that every picture is a collection of dots. Can you see that here is the dot, but all these dots are black colored, right, sir? Can you see that all these dots are black colored and they are representing the hairs? Here we can see that white and black. So every image is made up of so many tiny dots, so many tiny dots. So all these tiny dots are known as pixels. All these tiny dots. So you can see that, sir, like, can we say one line, just like theoretically we can say one line is made up of huge number of infinite number of tiny dots. Yeah. Yes, exactly. CB Saran sir, I hope now am I able to explain you that, can you say one line is made up of multiple dots? So here this entire area, you can say it is made up of multiple lines, many lines, and every line is made of many dots. So one image is made up of many dots. But the thing is, the dot at this place is of black color, but the dot at this place is white color. The dot at this place, that is representing the teeth of this person, that is white color. The dot at the eye, that dot is black color. So can we say, we can say that one picture is made up of multiple dots, and those dots are known as pixels. Those dots are known as pixels. Okay. Addressable unit of screen, that's right, exactly. Yes, I think Mary Catherine has written, that's has written very fantastic, that when we can zoom, we can see, when we can zoom and maximize, we can even see those pixels. That's fantastic example. Yeah. Okay. So I think now, okay. Yes, smallest unit of screen. Yes, exactly. So now let's come back to that. I will say that on this image, there might be huge number of dots, but I'm saying that I need only this part of this, the dots within this circle is important for us. All the dots within the circle are important for us. From these dots, we can recognize whether this picture is male or female. Okay, I think, yes, that is a very fantastic question that Aina ma'am has written, that how can we say that picture is not structured? Exactly. And Aina ma'am, that's what is we need to understand. That's why I have opened this slide. Okay, Aina ma'am, let's suppose, I think I would like to explain this by answering the question that was asked by Aina ma'am, that Aina ma'am, let's suppose you have taken 3 of your selfies. This is one selfie. There's a second selfie. This is third selfie. And in fact, let's suppose we can take one more selfie. I think that's a really wonderful question that was asked by ma'am, and I think look at this. Now, ma'am, let's suppose you have taken selfie. So first time when you took the selfie, suppose there is a person and there is a mobile camera, right? From mobile camera, you are taking your selfie like this. But sometime next selfie, your mobile camera was at a to big distance. So your mobile camera will capture more distance, right? So what will happen in one selfie? Suppose there is this picture was there, some kind of this, right? In another selfie, this person might have very small like this. And sometimes at during the selfie, suppose we have the camera angle was not proper way, so or while sleeping you took a selfie, for example, or it could be possible that sometime your camera has shake, your hand got shake, and your entire face is not on the like this. So or sometime when you took first selfie, at that time you have switched on all the lights, tube lights, CFL of your room, and when you took the second pic, at that time there was dark in the room. So now look at this. I have taken picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4, picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4. All right. So, okay, I'll be coming back to picture 1, picture 2, but before explaining this example, I would like to introduce a new terminology. Just few minutes back, I explained that in entire picture, all dots are not important. I will say that only these, because here we do not have any relevant dots that is useful for us, right? So I can say that in this picture, all the dots that are inside the circle is important for us. So those dots, those part of the picture, which is relevant for us, which is important for us, for that, in this data science, we call it a term that is known as ROI. That is known as ROI. That is known as, I repeat, inside the picture, the part of the area, the part of the image that is meaningful for us, that is useful for us, that is meaningful for us, there is a terminology, and that terminology is known as ROI. That is region of interest. That's right, exactly. Yes, Prakash sir, that's right. Region of interest. I request, please give me confirmation. Are you able to understand this part, that what does it mean by ROI? Am I able to explain that what does it mean by ROI? Miss, to solve a problem, I don't need all the pixels. I don't need all the pixels. Only these pixels are important. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is my region of interest. Now, look at this. This is the picture 1, picture 2, picture, and all these are the selfie of yours. So these all are the selfie of one person. But can you see that same information of picture 1, picture 2, picture 3? Here the region of interest, and here the region of interest, here the region of interest, they are not same, even though they contain same data. I repeat, and sometimes suppose in one picture, your image, your photograph is on this side, right? Your picture this side. On another selfie, your picture could be on the lower part of the bottom part of this one. So we can say that our ROI is not same, but same data is represented in different structures. Yes, yes, Bharti ma'am, yes. 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 So because same information can be represented in different way. The same info. I'll say that this is my selfie, this is selfie, this is selfie, this is selfie, this is my selfie. So all of my selfie, but their structures are not same. Their amount of ROI is not same. And these amount of ROI do not contain, means it's not that always in every picture we could have both of your eyes. Suppose your picture is like this. Suppose your picture is, for example, miss, from not your frontal image, your side image is there. Your selfie is taken from the side. So it could be possible that you may have only one eye, or you will have half of the mouth, something like that, I mean to say. So I could say that multiple pictures, we may have different ROI. Their ROI is not same. And one more thing, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that if we have 10 pictures of yours, it's not guaranteed that there are 10 pictures. So every time your photograph will be on the left hand side. Your photograph will be on. No, it's not guaranteed. Sometime it will be left, sometime on the top, sometime the bottom. So where your region of interest is there, it's not fixed on all images. So if you ask that, store all these data, store all the region of interest. So their structures are not fixed. Their structures are not fixed. And that's why the images are known as unstructured data. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rohan sir. Thank you so much for such a great compliment. Thank you so much. Yes, Bharti ma'am, yes, we need redundant data, ma'am. Because in machine learning and deep learning, if I have to train them, so I need billions of millions of images of male people, millions of images of female people. And with the help of that redundant data, I have to make our machine to understand the pattern. So we need redundant data, but that redundant data, multiple selfies has the redundant data, but the part is that format are not same. The formats are not same. All right, so now I request, please give me confirmation. I think now everyone, are you comfortable that why it is known as, yes, it is known as, in fact, unstructured data. Okay, in fact, okay, thank you so much, Khalid sir. Thank you so much, Khalid sir. Okay, Rohan sir, don't worry about that redundant data. Okay, thank you so much, Rajeshri ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Suresh sir, please do not worry about what is redundant data. Redundant data means, like suppose if I have 10 selfies, right? If I took 10 selfies of mine, this is my selfie, this is my selfie, this is my selfie. So if I store all these images, so I will say that I have repeated data of the mine. I have repeated data. So I have 4 images of mine. So that is. So in machine learning, it's not going to be 4. We need like 400 or 4,000 or 4 million of data. Yes, redundant means repeatedly. Some data that is appearing again, multiple times. That is redundant data. Okay. Yes. I think Rafiq sir, yeah, I'll be answering the question. But before that, let me tell you that I also said that audio is also an unstructured data. But why audio is unstructured? Why audio is unstructured? Okay, suppose you are standing here and this is your mobile phone, and from here you are recording your voice, for example, your vocals you are recording, right? So you have recorded one song. So when you are recording your song, some background noise will also come over here, right? Some background noise will also come over here. So in this data, you have your actual content as well as the actual content as well as some noise also, right? So, okay. Now next example, next thing that I have to explain is, this is the first part. This is number 1. Second part is, again, you are the same person, but this time your mobile phone is too much away from you. This distance is more. Now your vocals as well as some background noise, right? They will get imbibed. So suppose if you have recorded 2 songs or the same song you recorded today and the same song you recorded yesterday, right? So this placing and the background, the amount of background noise that we had yesterday and that the background noise that we have today, they're not same at exactly same. So the vocal that would be recorded is not going to be exactly same. Sometime it could be possible that yesterday your frequency and pitch was very high, your speed was comparatively very high, and today suppose your speech and pitch is low. You sang a song in a very sweet and melody way. So the same song can be represented. The same song can be represented in a different frequency, different levels. So that's why audio is also known as unstructured. Audio is also known as, suppose I want to identify the speech recognition, right? I want to so I have to say hi galaxy, right? So we can say hi galaxy. I can say hi galaxy in so many ways. If I have to say okay Google, I can speak the okay Google into multiple ways. I can say okay Google. I can say okay Google, or I can say okay Google, or I can say okay Google, or I can say okay Google. So you can see that the same information can be represented in a different format, different ways. So again, because the structure, the format is not same, means I cannot say okay Google exactly in the same way in the same time. Let me tell you that I have delivered this FDP of data science more than 150 batches for ICT Academy of IIT Kanpur. But every session, my voice pitch might be slightly changed. Sometimes I might more emphasize. Sometimes my pitch will be very high. Sometimes pitch will be slow. So, but same information is there. And that's why there is structures and I'm saying information is same. I'll say that, okay, Google. Okay, Google. So same information, but in a different format. And that's why sound and audio also comes under unstructured. Now the third example was video. Third example was video. So video is nothing. It's a collection of multiple image frames that switches in front of us at a very fast rate. I'll say video. See, video is nothing. That's a group of multiple images. I hope in childhood you must have seen the flip book, image flip book. Like if you flip the pages, so there was a horse that keep on jumping or moving or running, or there is a person who play with the football. If you flip that flip book looks like that some movie is going on, but actually multiple images, if switches in front of eyes very fast rate, then it looks like that is a movie. So video is also the group of collection of images, and because images are, I'll say that images are unstructured, so videos are also unstructured. Do you know that, I hope you remember, there was a movie that is Mughal-e-Azam. There was a movie, and I hope if some of you might aware, so Mughal-e-Azam has been converted. Actually, it was shooted in black and white mode, but now today it is available in colored mode. So do you know how it was colored? Every frame by frame coloring was done, and it took very long time. It took very long time, but nowadays we have different ways that tasks can be done in a very less span of time. So your videos, audio are also unstructured. Now, I think one faculty member has asked the question that how text is going to be, like suppose unstructured. Okay. So, Pam, do you remember that I asked the very first question, what is intelligence? What is intelligence? So almost more than, I could see that more than 300, I can say more than approx 400, roughly 400 people have answered that what is intelligence, and all of their answers were correct. So the same information was represented by 400 ways. That what is intelligence? around more than, I could say that more than 200 to 300 faculty members, they have given the answer. So all the answers were representing that what is intelligence. So that's why whenever you have a text data forward a blog, or if you write some messages in the WhatsApp, or if you write, so any essay kind of thing, like where you write kind of a paragraph. So all paragraph, so it could be possible that two person can write about, suppose if I say that write on an essay about pollution, write on an essay on pollution. So two people, person one and person two, they both will write the essay of pollution. So their content will be different, but their meaning, the context will be the same. That is pollution. That is the pollution. So that's why the paragraph type of data where we write the blob type of data. So that is also known as unstructured data. Okay, so I think now, yes, articles, that's right, Neha ma'am, that's exactly right. So I think now I have answered. Yes, exactly. I think Chandrakar sir has already said that, like mails, in mail also, we write kind of a paragraph. So that is also kind of unstructured data. Yes, Nidhi ma'am, it was in the old time, but now we can do it. We have some ways through which we can do it, ma'am. We can find out the context, and for that we have a different way of recurrent neural network like LSTM and GRU can be used to get the context. All right, ma'am. Okay, Arpan sir, I will come back to this, but before that, let me come back to the actual core concept where I was discussing that. Oh, where is that? Okay, just a minute. I think I've changed this slide. Yeah. Yep. So now let's come back to the same part. So I think when we have, I told that all the data can be divided into two parts. One is structured data and second is unstructured data, right? So when we have the data, we have the historical data in a structured format, then we will apply the machine learning algorithm. And when our data is unstructured format, then we are going to apply the deep learning algorithm. I think now I hope all of you are easily understandable. Now it's a very clear-cut definition I have given you that how to decide when to use deep learning and when to use machine learning. So whenever you have the data in unstructured format, we have to apply the deep learning techniques. And when we have to apply structured data, when we have a structured data, and on that structured data, if you have to apply the data science or AI techniques, so we have to apply the machine learning. So now I think I have already explained all those things, that what is AI, what is machine learning, what is deep learning, and Aruna ma'am, the chat all the participants are doing, it's purely unstructured data. Yes, Harjinder sir, sure, you can find it on Kaggle as well. Okay. Thank you so much, Suresh sir. Thank you so much for this lovely compliment. Thank you so much. One more thing, like the last part that I have to discuss, I have explained what is AI, I have explained what is machine learning, I have explained deep learning. Now the intersection of all these, are known as data science. Data science. The intersection of all these are known as data science. So now the question is, what is data science? I will say scientific and mathematical way to process and analyze the data. I repeat, a scientific and mathematical way. It's a scientific way to process. I repeat, there are two very important terms: process plus analyze. So what is data science? It's a scientific way for processing and analyzing the data. I repeat, it's processing and analyzing the data. But here the question is, then why? What is data science is very much clear, but why this intersect? That's the question. Why this intersection? So this intersection, we can see that the data science can be divided into basically two broad categories. This inner part, you can say that this inner part, and this outer part, So can you say that this data science I have divided into two broad categories, I'll say that this is the part number one, outer part, and this is inner part. So number one, whenever if I say that data science, so always read in reverse order. It's a science of data. What is data science? It's a science of data. Means it's a science where data is involved. But the thing is, for what purpose data is involved? Two aspects. Number one, process and analyze. Now, what does it mean by process? Process means transform the data, convert the data, conclude the data in such a way so that we can understand the data. I repeat, in what is the data science? It's a science of data to convert the data in such a way, so that we can understand the data. That's what is the data science. And in this data science, I will say that it is represented in this Venn diagram by intersect. So why did I represent? So as a broad way, you can say that data science is broadly divided into two categories. So what are those two categories and what we have to do in data science? Actually, if I say that in data science, we have to analyze the data. What is the final product? I say that process plus analyze the data. So ultimately, we have to do the analyze. We have to analyze the data. Analytics, right? Analysis of the data is also known as analytics. So after processing, we have to do the data analytics. And again, in entire data science, whenever I'll use the word process the data, process means simple, convert the data. Like you have the marks of all the student, I'll say that calculate the average. So you have huge list of data, now you calculated average. So all the data has been transformed in the format of average. So processing means transformation from one format to another format so that we can understand some information about the data. So to process and analysis. So after analysis, what we are going to do? We are going to understand the data and analyze the data. So actually in data science, we have to, end result is we have to analyze the data, or in simple way, data has to be analyzed, or simply as the data analytics. In data science, what we have to do? The data need to be analyzed, and this process is known as data analytics. The data analytics. So that data analytics is broadly divided into two categories, and that two categories I represented through this Venn diagram. The outer part as well as inner part. So what are these two parts and on what basis we have divided? So I'll explain it on tomorrow's session. Yes, Nidhi ma'am, processing is a very broad they're not only like deleting, transformation, feature engineering, feature selection, feature elimination. There are lots of ways through which we can do it now. So processing means by any way, if you are converting data, if you are doing something, any manipulation to data, that comes under processing. All right. So I hope the basic agenda that we have to understand today, that what is data science. So, okay, in fact, let me explain it. Let me conclude it that the outer part, yes, Kiran ma'am, exactly. The outer part to analyze the data is actually known as descriptive analytics. I write DA, descriptive analytics. An internal part, that part number 2 is known as predictive analytics. So in data science is a science of analyzing the data, but after processing and analyzing. So actually, if I ask you that what we have to do in data science, if you do anything with the data, that comes under data science. If you do anything in the data, that comes under data science. Anything means anything. So our end result is in the data science, basically we have to analyze the data. And this part is also known as data analytics. So in data science, what is the objective? In data science, what is the objective? Our objective is data analytics. And that data analytics is broadly divided into two parts: descriptive analytics and predictive analytics. So I hope this AI is, in fact, I will say that, this AI is nothing, is the kind of predictive. This AI comes under the inner part of this data science, right? Can you say there is a data science, right? Data science is divided into two parts. So this inner part that comes under predictive analytics. So we can say that AI is the part of predictive analytics. I repeat, AI is the part of predictive analytics. All right. So that's all for today from my side. And I hope I have given a very in-depth example that what is structured data, what is unstructured data, and on what basis we can decide that we have to apply machine learning or deep learning. And I told that throw the idea from the mind that deep learning is better or machine learning. So actually these are not comparable things. Their application area is totally different. So that's all from my side. Rest, again, we are going to learn all those two parts, that what is predictive analytics, what is descriptive analytics that we have to do in data science. So we'll continue tomorrow at the same time. So that's all from my side. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am, for such a fantastic compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monica ma'am. Thank you, Bala Murugan sir. Thank you so much. Jitin Mehta sir, thank you. You're welcome, sir. Ravin sir, thank you so much. You're welcome. Umashri ma'am, thank you so much. Deepak sir, Jyoti ma'am, Sujitra ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, data mining is also the part of data science. We normally apply with the help of unsupervised machine learning. Thank you so much. Oh, Nitika ma'am. And one more thing, like because today around approx 400 participants were there. And still at the same time, I was explaining as well as I was also trying to see the chat, your queries and all. So I tried to answer all the queries and questions, but still, because so many queries comes at a time, so it could be possible because that when multiple queries comes at the same time, so some queries get scroll up. So it could be possible that if I missed any query, so please, I request that tomorrow's session, you can again put your queries. I will help you definitely to answer it. All right, Nikita ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, Kali sir, thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Sujata ma'am. Ron ma'am, thank you so much. Oh, recorded session. I think about recorded session, I think I have delivered more than 150 FDPs across India on behalf of ICT, but I think uh, there was no process or provision to like share the, because this session is actually a live session. And so if you miss anything, I request you can do let me know that, like suppose due to any reason if you miss something or you could not attend or you are not able to catch anything, you do let me know. I'm always there to help you. I'll always there to help you. Right. So we'll make it more live interactive rather than recorded. Okay. Yes. Qualitative data is also the part of, yeah, exactly. Qualitative data and quantitative data. Basically, of this, sir, there are two type of like qualitative and quantitative. Technically, in data science, we measure it in the terms of precision value and recall value. And of this, sir, apart from that qualitative and quantitative values, there is one more like F1 score is also there. So we'll talk about in upcoming part. Okay. Yes. Sankaran sir, sure, definitely you'll get it. No issues. I think I will pass on this information to the concerned person. They will provide. I think I'm sure that they definitely you'll get the certificate, sir. Yes, Prakash sir, tomorrow session I will share the link for that. Okay. Kishan sir, don't worry about hands-on. I will explain every part that how to do the hands-on and everything. I will explain everything. I will give the demonstration that how to install and set up the environment. So please don't worry about that because we will more emphasize on hands-on part. Right. Yeah. So there is no kind of special link of feedback as a separate. There's no feedback. I think feedback will be in the mid of this. After 1 week, there will be one mid of feedback and one will be the last. Okay. Yes. Sir, hands-on session can be done on Mac also. There is no issues. I will explain all either Mac or Windows or Linux. It could be anything. Okay. Yeah. Jupyter Notebook will be also okay. Jupyter Notebook, that will be fine. We'll go ahead with the Anaconda. Yes, one more thing, like hopefully by tomorrow we'll be starting some hands-on. So I request for tomorrow's session, if possible, try to connect from the laptop. Because if you connect from the laptop and at any point of time, if you face any problem, so I can help you. I can connect with your system and I can help you to resolve your errors. And you can do some hands-on along with me as well. And if you do some hands-on along with me and somewhere if you got stuck, so I can help you. So that's why I recommend, if possible, from tomorrow, please try to join from the laptop or a computer rather than the mobile phone. That will be more easy. Okay. Geeta ma'am, like there's no feedback link for today. Feedback link will be provided in the last of the FDP in the end. Okay, so thank you so much. I think now I have answered all of your questions. So that's all from my side. And the rest will continue on tomorrow at the same time. So thank you so much and have a great time. Bye-bye. Thank you, Rafiq sir. Thank you so much, Rituji. Thank you so much. Sakilaji, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you, Neha ma'am. Sujata ma'am, thank you so much. Yeah, Harshdeep sir, don't worry. I will explain everything that which softwares are installed. Everything I'll explain. Don't worry about that. I will be using Anaconda. Neha ma'am will be using Anaconda with a PyCharm. All right, so don't worry about that. I will explain all the process, how to, we can go for a spider or anaconda. There are multiple ways. I'll explain all the ways. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great time. Bye-bye. Sridhar sir, thank you so much. You're welcome, Dayasankar sir. Tamil Rasi ji, thank you so much. Sure, Ranjan sir. Oh, really? Thank you so much. Harshvardhan sir, thank you so much. Okay. Nice to see you again, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. All right. So.
Recording stopped.
All right.